In this video I'm going to go over how to make the rocket. So when you're making the rocket, you're going to cut a piece of paper and you want it to overlap a little bit, and so we get this piece of paper, we put it on there nice and snug. Now you don't want to make it too tight, otherwise there'll be too much friction for it to fly off, but still make it a little bit snug. So we'll throw some tape down on there, and then we'll go ahead and tape it all the way down the middle. That way we just eliminate as much air resistance as possible. We want this to be fairly aerodynamic, so I'm going to continue throwing some tape on here. And then for the nose, we're just going to take a piece of paper and curl it like this, so you make a cone, and then throw a piece of tape on there. And then once we get this, then we're going to cut it down to size. Alright, so now I have my nose cone done, and I've discovered that the best way to do this is actually to hot glue it on there. So I'm just going to take some hot glue, I'm going to put it around the edge of this outside piece right here, and you might notice that this is a little bit discolored, a little bit brown. That's because I was trying to put the modeling clay on first, and I've decided that's actually not the best way to do this. So I just got that on there. And now that I have it on there, I'm going to take some modeling clay, and this is kind of a brownish color. You can get this in all sorts of different colors. But just take a small amount, and I'm going to shove it down the end of it here. And then we're going to take our little pipe our tube that we're using, and just going to pound it down there just a little bit. So that way it's stuck down at the end, and that way we have just a little bit of weight, so that way when this is flying through the air, it actually goes the direction we want it to instead of flying off in random directions. And since we've got the hot glue gun already warmed up, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to glue some tail fins on there, which I cut out of the cardstock. So I'm going to glue it onto this little rocket right here, and just slide that on there. And now you can do this with tape or hot glue, but like I said, I found that hot glue works a little bit better just because it dries fast and it goes where you want it to. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to be using this with children or students, it might not be the best route to go, but it certainly is a little bit faster, a little bit easier to get placement right where you want it. So I'm going a little bit fast. Normally I would take a little bit more time on these and let them set up, but this way you can at least see what I'm doing here, and you'll know how it's supposed to look. So there's our finished rocket. Once that dries, then we can stick that onto our tube and we can fire it off. Alright, so I actually went ahead and made a second one just to show you that you can make it all out of tape without having to use a hot glue gun. So there's it all made out of tape. It's not quite as pretty, but it'll still do the trick. And I also went ahead and cut off the end of this one, the nose here. So that was a little bit more rounded, a little less dangerous. But you'll see that once you get these flying in the air, the nose gets pretty bent up pretty easily, so it's not too dangerous after you get the first shot or two off. Now this right here is the pump that I mentioned in the article above. And this is something you can just find in one of those exercise ball packages, and it actually fits into this little tube here perfectly. And so when we put the rocket on this and we just press down, it's going to shoot our rockets off, and then we should be able to get our range and trajectories out of that. So that's that set up.